Well, hello students, this is your computer teacher and today we are going to start with session 11, 12 and 13. And before getting into the train, let's check the overview of what session 11, 12 and 13 has. In session 11, we will study about the viewing options available in MS Word. In session 12, we'll study how we can print a document, and in session 13, we will study about what are borders and shading options available in MS Word. So without further ado, let's get straight to it. Welcome students in Microsoft Office Word. As you all know, we are working in a word processor, so we'll continue from where we left off in the previous session. In this session, we will continue with different viewing options that are available in MS Word. And to check that, we will go to View tab here in the ribbon, View tab. Now basically in MS Word we have three viewing options. Number one is by default, which is active, that is the print layout option. The print layout option is that viewing option in which we normally work in. This view basically shows us how a hard copy will look when we print this out, hence the name print layout. The second one is the read mode. Right on the left of print layout we have read mode. Let's check how it looks like. This is how a read mode looks like. This is also known as full screen reading mode. Now what is its use? Basically it helps us to read a document. It simply looks like a book with page number 1 and this being page number 2. Since we have nothing written on page number 2, that's why it's showing blank. But it's just like a book open in front of you that is enabled for reading. For better reading purposes, we use this mode. And since it is a strict hardcore reading mode, we cannot edit a document. You can simply see I can select, but I cannot change. You can hear me pressing the keys of the keyboard, but nothing is changing on the screen. So this is strictly a reading mode and uneditable mode. So moving on to the third view. So the third view with us is web layout view. Let's check how it looks like. This basically is an outline of how a document will appear in a web browser, or simply in other words, how a document will look like as a web page if it is created as a website. Now there are two more viewing options that are available in MS Word, but they are very less frequently used, or I shall say very seldom used. One is outline and the other one is draft. Outline view, let's check it out. It gives us the basic outlines, what our document contains. That's it, nothing more than that. Very less formatting options are available, but we can edit the document in these modes. Only exception is the reading mode. Next one, I'll close the outline view, and next one I'll again go back to view option. Next one we have is draft. Now draft is again very less used, and it is basically used for editing the document on the go in a very last moment. But since we basically use MS Word for typing and printing purposes, we normally and often use print layout view, which is the by default option. When we studied anatomy of MS Word window, we also saw this viewing buttons at the status bar. Let me zoom in and show you. You can see these three buttons. These are viewing buttons. This is the reading mode, the first one. This is the print layout view, which is by default and we are currently working in. And this is the web layout view. As I told you, these are the primary three options that are mostly used. Let me zoom out. So these were the viewing options that were available in MS Word. So we move on to the next session, that is printing a document. When we want to print a document, we'll first type the document as we want on a sheet of a paper. And then there are two options. Number one is going to the file menu. We'll click on the file menu or file tab as we call it in the latest version, and then there is option of print. We'll click on it and a print dialog box will open up in front of us. Since we don't have any printer installed, in the option of printer it is showing print to PDF. If we want to convert this document into a PDF, this is one of many ways. But if you have a printer installed, it will be listed in this drop down, the printer drop down. So we'll select the printer and we'll select how many number of copies you want here, mentioning it here, the number of copies and the pages. Now this is basically the main point of learning printing, how to give commands of different pages. If you want to print an entire document, just leave it blank, write the number of copies here and click on print option. But if you want to print very specifically, then you have to mention the page numbers. You can see at the very bottom of the screen the page number is displayed. This is page number 1, this is page number 2. You have to write the page number here in this order that is displayed on the screen. We can simply type the page numbers using commas like 1, 3, that will print page number 1 and 3 but not 2. But if you want to print between page number 5 and 12, you can see on the screen we can type 5-12, which means all the pages will be printed between page number 5 and page number 12. I can select the page orientation. I'll click here and it will change the page orientation from portrait into landscape, and if I want from landscape into portrait, that can also be done. Now you can see the orientation of the page has been changed. Earlier it was in portrait mode, that was more vertical than horizontal, and now it is changed to landscape mode, which is more horizontal than the vertical. So if you have made a desired setting in this dialog box, we can click on this print option and the document will be printed on a piece of a paper. Now the entire procedure is same for the method number 2, but the only difference is how to invoke that print dialog box, which is very simple. That is, the shortcut key of print command is Ctrl plus P. I'll press Ctrl plus P from the keyboard and the same print dialog box will appear on the screen. And then all the other steps are similar to method number 1 as I explained earlier. So the final topic for today, that is borders and shading. What is a border? It is the outline drawn at the border. Border means at the edge, at the boundary. So an outline drawn at the boundary either of a page or around a selected text. So I'll show you both the ways. The first way will be applying borders and shading to an entire page, and second will be to apply borders and shading on a piece of text. First of all, applying on a page. For that, I will go to Design tab and I'll choose this page border option for applying borders and page color option for applying shading. To apply page border, I'll click on this page border option. I select the type of border or style of border from here. I select the width. You can see the preview here. I'll select the width. I can select the color. Let's choose a bit darker. And if I want something fancy, I can select it from here. So let's just not do it right now. And then we'll press OK. You can see our entire page has a border now. Similarly, if I want to apply shading to the same page, I can go to page color option, choose the color, and we can apply shading to the entire page. Let's just go back 2 steps and apply border to a piece of text. Now to apply a border to a piece of text, we first have to select that piece of text. For example, I want the border around this paragraph. First step always will be to select the text. Now we will go to this paragraph group in Home tab, and then we will select this option. Let me zoom in and show you these 2 options. This will be the option used for shading, and this will be the option used for borders. Let me zoom out. I'll click on this drop down arrow and select borders and shading. From here on, it will be completely same as previous, selecting the style, color, width, and then you can see, since I have selected the text here, it will apply to paragraph. I'll click OK, and you can see the border is applied to a paragraph now. In the same way, if I want to give a background shading to it, a background color, that means shading, I'll select the text, go to this paint bucket tool option that is for shading, and then I'll select the color I want at the background. This is shading. So this is it from today's video. I hope you all understood what borders and shading are, what are different views present in MS Word, and how we can print an MS Word document. For any further queries, you can contact me, and until the next time, stay home, stay safe, stay healthy.